Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us my law partner David Nachman. David, welcome.
Hi, Michael. Nice to be here with you again.
Thank you. So let's start the program today with first giving you cutoff dates for the month of March 2016. The family first preference, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens, advances by 4 weeks to August 8, 2008. The family 2A category, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters under the age of 21 of green card holders, advances by 3 weeks to September 22nd, 2014. The family 2B category, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters over the age of 21 of green card holders, unfortunately moves only 1 week to May 22nd, 2009. The family third preference, which are the married sons and daughters of US citizens, advances by 2 weeks to October 1, 2004. And for family fourth preference, which are the brothers and sisters of US citizens, advances by 3 weeks to July 1, 2003. Now, in the employment preference categories, the first preference is current for all the countries, including India. The employment second preference is also current for all the countries except India. India still has a cutoff date, but good news, it advances at least by 11 months to July 1, 2009. And the employment third preference, which are for the professionals and skilled workers, is current for all the countries, which is wonderful this time. They used to be few months up and down, but for India it is not available, but it's still a good movement. It's unbelievable. It advances by 11 months and 2 weeks to July 1, 2005. That's a wonderful news. The EW other workers category, same thing, advances by 11 months and 2 weeks for India. Now, for the employment fourth preference, which are the religious workers and special immigrants, it is current for all the countries. And employment fifth preference, which is for the investors of $1 million or $500,000, is also current for all the countries. We also have a bulletin from the Department of State about how the predictions about the coming months, how it's going to advance. So I am going to ask David to explain that. What do you see in the future in the coming months?
Sure, Michael. Well, it's not really what I see. I mean, I would like to see everything to become current immediately. But what Michael is talking about is that Charlie Oppenheimer, who many of you may recognize his name, he's the number cruncher at the U.S. Department of State, and he's responsible for what's called the Visa Bulletin, which is the document that's put out on a monthly basis that we always call your attention to. If you don't have access to it, please feel free to visit our website at www.visaserve.com, and you can pull up the monthly Visa Bulletin, and on it has the dates, of course, the priority dates for your ready reference, but contained within the March 2016 monthly Visa Bulletin are Charlie Oppenheimer's predictions. So his predictions are as follows. With family first preference, he is looking at the potential advancement of 3 to 5 weeks. Family 2A is up to about a month. Family 2B is up to about 3 weeks. Family third preference is up to about 4 weeks advancement, and family fourth preference is 3 to 4 weeks. On the employment-based side, in the first preference category, he's projecting that it will remain current, which of course is great news. And the employment second-based is going to vary depending upon the country. So worldwide, it will remain current. For China, they're predicting an advancement of 5 months, a 5-month prediction of advancement. With regard to India, they're looking at potentially up to a 3-month advancement. So I know a lot of people are very interested in that. So that will be a 3-month advancement. With regard to the third preference category, worldwide, they're saying that the rapid forward movement of this cutoff date during the past 10 months should generate a significant amount of demand for numbers. When such demand begins to materialize, it will be necessary to limit movement of these cutoff dates. So they're not being specific about how the cutoff dates will seize up, but it looks like there might not be as much movement as there was in the past. China, they're saying up to 5 months. India is up to a 1-month advancement. Mexico will remain at the worldwide date, and Philippines up to 4 months. The fourth employment-based preference category, they're saying that it will remain current for most countries. And for the fifth employment-based classification, that's investors, they're saying that the category will remain current for most countries. China mainland will slow forward movement. And that was something, of course, that they even predicted last year. So
let's talk about the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, a couple of words about the Supreme Court. That is the highest court. Supreme Court, when makes decisions, though decision becomes law, land of the law, and nobody can change. Congress even cannot challenge the decision of the Supreme Court. Now, why we are talking about Supreme Court is because recently Justice Scalia, which is one of the 9 judges, he died, I think, few days ago, and that has completely disturbed the balance, because there were 9 judges most of the time, 9 judges that were giving decisions, sometimes 4-5, sometimes 5-4, and in some rare cases unanimous or differently. But the balance with 1 judge gone is a 4-4. So most of the time, I think there are 4 judges who are a little more conservative Republicans, and the other 4 judges are more democratic liberal. We shouldn't really brand by the parties, because that doesn't mean anything to them. But there's conservativeness, or the feeling of which side they think we should go. That's a way, like on the conservative side or more liberal side. Now that is a big issue to us, because we know some of our immigration matters are pending before the Supreme Court, the DACA, DAPA, and there are many other administrative memos that were issued by President Obama. And they have challenged in the lower courts that President Obama does not have the power, authority to make these changes. He's actually bypassing the law and doing this, right? Now, we are worried what's going to happen in the next few months, because with the 4 judges, if 4 and 4, nothing happens, that continues. Am I right, David?
right. If it's 4 and 4, it's a deadlock.
Deadlocked and nothing happens.
Right,
now,
exactly.
it's a possibility that one of the judges may go from here and there, like the arguments are made, and the Supreme Court is convinced, not the whole, even one judge from the other side is convinced that, yes, Obama has the power, then we have a 5-3 decision in our favor, then things will move smooth along. So this is something that is worrying us, because if the 4-4 situation stays, then nothing is going to happen until Obama leaves. And that's what the Republicans want. They say, we are not going to make any nomination even. A nomination, of course, President nominates, and he's already considering 2-3 people. And actually one of them is an Indian guy, Srinivasa, who is a little bit, he's actually a liberal Democrat, Republicans, Srinivasa. Yeah. So we don't know what happens, because this is a big politics here. Because Obama is going to nominate finally, and then they are saying, they're saying the Cruz, or I think Rubio is saying, we will not even discuss about that. That's it. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to shake hands with him, to that extent. So if that is the case, then probably nothing may happen. And we believe, in my personal opinion, is highly unlikely that they are going to go through nomination and approval of the Senate, because the appointment happens only when President nominates and the Senate approves that. Is it required that the Senate has to be 100%?
Well, the Senate has to confirm, and the Senate has certain voting rules. So there's there's a percentage of Congress that needs to confirm. But what's interesting, Michael, is that Judge Kennedy is going to be the swing vote here, it looks like. Yeah. And so there's a focus on, where Judge Kennedy obviously
So where do you put Judge Kennedy in the Republican side?
Well, Judge Kennedy is a very...
I know that, yeah. But right now when we say 4-4, then we are talking about the 4 which includes Kennedy. This side.
Right.
So if he changes, he's the most likely person, most likely judge who may move to the other side.
Right. And what they do is they look at the votes historically that the Supreme Court justices have made and where they've come out. It was pretty clear that Judge Scalia has always he's a very, very conservative judge and has always come out with, he of course will be missed sorely for his legal brilliance and quick wit. But in terms of the actual vote on this issue, I don't think that, on the DACA issue, I don't know that his vote would have made that much of a difference in favor of DACA. Yeah. What's also interesting is that if you take a look at really what lies at the heart of the DACA issue, it really comes down to a question of what the president is allowed to do by way of executive actions. And we know that historically, immigration law has not been something that lies in the bailiwick of the states. It's always been something that lies in the bailiwick of the federal government. Correct. And the president has always been allowed to do administrative actions. So this is something which, is for time immemorial. And I don't think that, I think that the Supreme Court is going to do the right thing. They're going to look at what's been done historically, and they're going to look and say, well, has immigration law ever been made by the states? And it's clear in our Constitution that the states do not make immigration law. In fact, many of the states, especially when right after the shooting in California, had tried to pass laws which limited the ability of refugees to settle in the states. And all of the states seem to have backed off that. It was almost like a political ploy in moving forward to try to get refugees.
David, the issue there here is a little different when you say president had always had the authority to make this kind of memorandums or changes. The difference here is that this provision is there, nothing new. That the deferred,
administrative action.
I did cases, I got 2 or 3 deferred inspection, but those circumstances were very, very limited. So like maybe in a whole year, we will not even take 2 or 3 deferred cases in a year. But what Obama did, he opened the whole wide door in one order, one executive order covers 4 million people, for example.
Exactly.
So this is their argument is going to be, this is not just the way that law was intended by the Congress, right? It's not the way that Obama, but this is an argument they are going to make.
Right. Well, they're saying that what he did is he acted above the law, but in fact, he didn't act above the law. Yeah. He acted according to what every other president has done for many, many years.
Other thing, Justice Scalia, I was appointed in my opinion, in 1986, when President Reagan was there. That's Imagine, right. President Reagan is who signed the amnesty bill. He was very, very pro-immigrant, and he was completely liberal. And he's the one who appointed him. So I don't even know whether Scalia definitely would have gone against this or not. Who knows? The mind of the judge at that time, nobody can case. We have seen cases where we don't believe that they did that.
Yeah, but traditionally his voting record was very, very staunchly conservative.
Correct.
And more along the party lines of the GOP.
Yeah. So we now have to wait. We are observing what is happening in the nomination, and whether something could happen. I'm not saying no, because if let us say is one of the judges that are nominated like Srinivasa, right? The Republicans may have a little problem because he's a Republican judge, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the senators are even now saying that we should at least give a chance to discuss. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's a democracy. David, right. Democracy. Right. He's nominating Senate guys. You have the authority to reject.
Right.
But you are not even listening. You don't want to talk about that. You don't shake the hands. This shows the arrogance.
Well, we're a bit in the trenches, Michael, and one of the things that we've been focusing on is what is the net practical value of whether or not, let's say the Supreme Court says that DAPA and DACA can go forward. The question then becomes, how quickly does the program come into effect? Because it's really pursuant to a restraining order right now. So if the Supreme Court says it's okay, I guess it happens in one day. So it happens very quickly. And then if it happens very quickly, what's going to end up happening, as we see it, is that individuals are all of a sudden going to be able to get their papers figured out. And what they're going to do is they're going to go and present themselves to their employers to do new I-9 forms, where for many, many years they may have had an identity A, and now they're going to have identity B. So we're focused on how this is going to roll out from a practical standpoint and how employers are going to deal with the re-verification of individuals who all of a sudden have new identities.
Plus, David, don't forget this, Trump keeps on saying, and other Republicans also, that even if this has gone through, the passes, the judges agree on the Supreme Court, once I become the president, I'm going to withdraw all these memos. I'm going to withdraw day one. The first day I will do is to withdraw.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, I don't know whether he can withdraw or not, probably because it's only a promulgation of the president. If the president has the power, a president has the power also to discontinue.
Of course, and that was what happened during when Mitt Romney was running against President Obama. Everyone was scared who had DACA 1 to, they were worried, should I apply for DACA? Because what would happen is Mitt Romney would take it offline.
Well, with that, I think we are coming to the end of the program, and thank all of you for watching the program. Please keep watching us every Saturday and Sunday at 11:40 a.m. Thank you.